Hey y'all, it's me. I just wanted to get on here on today because I'm about to get on the road in a little bit. It is Black History Month, and of course, I gotta represent. So I have on Mr. Malcolm X. Yes. Okay. So I love Malcolm X. I may not agree with some of the things, right, that he does, but I think that he's an awesome human being, and that at the end of the day, he made such an impact. So, if you don't know who Malcolm X is, definitely go and look him up. It is Black History Month. You got to know what you're wearing, and who you represent. Who were the people who stood up for what they believed in, right? Regardless of what other people believe. If you don't stand up for something, right, you'll just fall for anything. And that's one of those things too that Malcolm X, he always, he was like that. But anyways, that's my sidebar. So let's celebrate us. Yay! Woo woo. Black History Month. But it's also Love Month, right? So we want to do things in love. Yes. So that goes to the title on today. So welcome to the Glow Up Is, first and foremost. If you have never been to this channel, welcome. We've been talking about a lot of different things. Well, this is episode 8, y'all. Listen, episode 8. And thank you to everybody who has taken the time to support. Please share this because I promise you, um, it is truly a blessing and an honor and a privilege to be able to grow with you. Yep, I'm growing with you. We growing together. We doing this thing together, and that is exactly what the Glow Up is. We're growing together, and guess what? We're gonna glow. The more we grow, the more we glow, because we got to deal with those things that's going on inside of us, right? In order to really, truly glow. And to show people exactly what it is, right? Because people looking at you like, oh, she brand new. Yep, and is. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all know me. My name is Toya. The Glow Up is. And so today we kind of wanted to talk about love because it's also Love Month, right? And a lot of us are getting ready for Valentine's Day. Whoop de whoop, right? We get ready for Valentine's Day, but some people like, nah, I celebrate love every day. Throughout 365 days, 366 days, it's a leap year, right? So with that being said, right, I kind of wanted to challenge you this week on what is love, right? Because so many people ask, what is love? 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 That's the question. What is love? Love is this. Love is that. Love is this. Love is that. But y'all know, right, that we growing together, right? So let's be practically, let's be real with this thing, right? Is that sometimes we look at love and we're like, love is a feeling, it's an emotion. And love can have all of these different effects, right, that come along with it. But a lot of times we miss out on what really love really truly is, right? Love is not a what. Oh, oh, love is not a what, it's a who. And I think that sometimes, right, we take it out of context because we've lost our own ways. We've lost our own selves. And so I kind of want to expound upon that. So it's not what is love, right? And I feel like, we can still talk about what love is because, love does have its side effects. But who is love? God is love, right? And so that's where I'm going. Ding, ding, ding. God is love. And because God is love, we can't just so freely just give away the love that God has given us, right? We can't just give it away freely because we have all of these different experiences that we've experienced, but that's what God has called us to do, to give it. He's called us to give the love, right? But we want to keep it, we want to hold it, right? But then we also have to be mindful of the different relationships, right, that come along with the love, right? Because sometimes we get close to people and sometimes we don't. Because we can love people and we do things out of love, out of the act of love, right? But then at the same time, even though we do these things out of love, right? And our intentions is pure and our intentions is genuine. Sometimes, even in these relationships, we begin to think that they're more than what they are because now we've awakened something that we should not have awakened. So we have to be mindful of our love, because guess what? It's different types of love too. And we'll be talking about that too this month. And I'm excited. I'm so excited. So I'm just giving y'all a headway. So I kind of thought that it would be dope to be able to talk about who love is today. Because if we don't really establish the foundation of who and what love is, then we can fall for anything. Like, we really could fall for anything, because love is our foundation of who we are, but then it also dictates how we respond to things and how we experience this life, right? Because we're all going through this journey. We're all going through this journey together, and we're not an island by ourselves. We need each other. But other people have their own perception of what love is, right? And I'm not saying that that they don't know what love is because of their experiences, right? Because we all experience things differently. However, even in those experiences, um, the love may look different, but it's still the same when God says what it is, right? And so the reality is that God is love. And so if we put God there, right, and we say, okay, it's not about what is love, it's who is love. And I wanted to just talk to you about First Corinthians. So let's go into First Corinthians 13. And I just want to hit on this because guess what? The reality is that you see this, probably see this verse all over. You probably see it all over. And it's funny because it's one of my favorite scriptures too. But I never looked at love as it being God, right? But I know that it is God. And it's amazing because love describes who he is, right? And he tells us that it's the greatest thing to do. Like, this is one of the greatest commandments. It's one of the things that he wants us to do, which is love. He wants to do everything in love. But if we don't understand what love is, how can we even apply it? We don't even know what love is or who love is. If we don't know the who love is, we can't apply the what love is. Ooh, did y'all hear that? Ooh, girl. Okay, listen to what I just said. If we don't know who the love is, if we don't know who the love is, right, we're not going to understand what and how to apply what the love is. So we got to know who the who is. So it's already getting me started, y'all. Y'all already getting me started already because I'm excited about this thing. Okay. So go into First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. 4 through 7, and it talks about what love is. And so we're gonna touch on that because I'm like, great day. God want me to have all of these traits. God want me to have all of that. And I don't know if I'm all of this yet. You know what I'm saying? But I got an idea and I feel like I'm flowing with this thing, but I don't know if I'm all the way there yet. So I get excited about who I am as a person, but I know I haven't arrived either. And none of us will. We never have arrived, right? But we're still making an effort. And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to make an effort. So I'm just going to touch on this, but I know you all have seen First Corinthians 13. I know you've seen that around. And so many people use it. So many people use it. I mean, they hang it around the door, and people don't even realize it, right? That's the scripture. That's really a scripture. So going into Corinthians 13, and we go into verse 4. Verse 4. 4 through 8. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking. And it does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. This is what love is. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh. And God had to show it to me like, Toya, are you these things? And I'm like, well, okay, I got the kind thing, I got the kind thing. Okay, I got you. I'm not envious of nobody. I don't boast and I'm not too proud to ask for help. Nope. I used to be like that. I used to feel like, I was very prideful. And I used to be like, man, I'm boasting about what I'm doing. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's coming across as that, right? And sometimes, even in life, we look at these things and we're like, hmm, interesting. Maybe people are perceiving me this way, but I can't help how people perceive me, right? Because what I'm doing is I'm intentionally living, and God had to show me that too. Like, look, you're intentionally living for me. You let me worry about other people's perception of you and how they receive, because what it is that they're not looking at you through love. They're not looking at you through the eye lenses of love. So God had to deal with me with that, and that's a real thing. So don't beat yourself up if you don't have all of these qualities yet. And if you're working on it, listen, you working on it. That's a good thing. And so God tells us love is patient, love is kind. I feel like I'm a kind person. I feel like patience is something I'm still working on, but I've gotten a lot better with that. I got a whole lot better with that. Envious, boasting, nope, I'm not that. I'm not arrogant or rude, because at the end of the day, my father got it like that. So I'm going to have it like that. So, I mean, if that's the way you want to carry it, again, that's perception, right? But I'm not arrogant. I'm not one of those people. I'll help anybody, to try to help them to get to the next level. And I think that sometimes people find you to be intimidating because they want what you got. And that's on them. That's accountability. Again, here we go again, y'all, with that accountability word. That accountability thing is a real thing. So we gotta hold each other accountable for that, right? The other one was, it is not arrogant or rude. I'm not a rude person, never been a rude person. I feel like I may have had some issues back in the day, right? But I've come a long way. I've come a long way from being rude. I don't think that I'm rude, like just straight up rude. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was asking for it back in the day, and I felt like that was something that you needed. But God has really helped me and molded me in that area. So I do believe that I'm healed in that area. I've been delivered in that area. I still have triggers, but I don't go all the way. I don't even allow people to take me outside of myself anymore. But um, I think about it, right? I think about it in that moment, but I'm very mindful. So I've grown a lot in that area. So I definitely wouldn't say that I'm rude. I do not insist on my own way. Well, sometimes I do. So I'm still working on that. I do insist on my own way sometimes. Sometimes I can be very selfish when it comes to certain things. And that's just me being honest, right? And I don't know whether or not that's you or me, you know what I'm saying? But I like things a certain way. So I insist on it being my way. But I got a lot better of accepting that I know that everything is not going to go my way. And so this is what God has called us to do. And this is what love is, right? And then it also says that it's not irritable or resentful. I don't resent anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't resent people. I don't resent anything, because I feel like at the end of the day, right, even with resentment, it can lead you down a path of of self-seeking, but it can also lead you down a path of really truly harboring, right, and holding grudges against people for the things that they've done to you, right? And you may feel like, guess what? They really truly deserve this. They really truly deserve for me to treat them this way. But that's not the right way. That's not God's way of dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? I'd have been there too. I'd have been there before where I'm like, no, she really truly deserved that. No, sis needed that. She needed to get that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you needed to get that back. You deserve every single thing that you got, because you did me like this, and you hurt me, and and I'm just like, well, dang. Maybe I was one of those people that may have hurt somebody, not even intentionally doing it, right? But maybe I did it and wasn't even aware because of the way that I am or who I am, right? And some people can't handle my personality. Listen, some people cannot handle my personality. I'm not a soft person. I don't proclaim to be a soft person. I probably won't ever be a soft person. But I feel like in some ways, though, I can be, right? But I think that only a certain amount of people see that soft side of me. But I feel like I feel like I'm a balance. I can't even say that. I think that I'm a balance. I am definitely not the person that's gonna be all mushy all the time. I'm not that. But at the same time, I do feel like I've gotten a lot softer than what I used to be, because I used to just cut straight forward. Like, I'm a very straightforward person. And I'm gonna say what I got to say and mean what I say when I say it. I don't play when it comes to stuff like that, right? I don't play about my I don't play about my God first and foremost. I don't play about my family, especially my immediates and the ones that's real close to me. Y'all know who y'all are because I don't have an inner circle like that, but I do have maybe like two people, two, three people. I think it's probably like three people in my circle. Three people in my circle. Three people. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for them. You know what I'm saying? And then I got my girls. You know what I'm saying? I got my girls. And it's a sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? It's a sisterhood, and they keep me on my toes. They are always interceding for me. I love them. Shout out to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. But I'm thankful for them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful for my covering. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for that. So I'm excited about, growing, right? Even in that. And so I say all of that to say is like, resentment is just something that you have to take accountability for, right? And it can lead you down a road, man, where you are constantly putting forth effort, right, to try and get things done, and you want to be God and you want to make sure that they get theirs. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Listen, it's not fun, and it can after a while begin to eat you up, right? But I get that too. People may say, well, no, it ain't gonna eat me up, it ain't messing with me, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's a dangerous territory, because when things start to not bother you in that way, right? I truly believe that that's God that's trying to show you that, hold on, wait a minute, you got so comfortable in your habits, you got so comfortable in your flesh, you got so comfortable in doing the things that it is that you want to do of the world, that's not of me, right? Because I'm telling you what love is. Um, you getting so consumed in that you ain't even focused on me. I understand that you want to lay hands on them. I understand that you want to go over there and cuss them out. I understand that you want to go over there and punch them in the face and make that nose bleed and that eye swole. I understand that. I understand that you may want to go out and you may want to hurt them. I get that. But really, is that really going to satisfy you? And it may satisfy you in that moment, because I'm going to be honest. Yep. It may be satisfactory to see that, right? And especially if you're the one that's actually doing it, right? Because listen, y'all, I'm gonna share a secret with you, right? I used to feel like this, right? I used to be like, God, listen, if you allow me to be the one to be able to go over there and bless them, to be able to get them, right? To be able to go over there and let me, because I feel like you anointed me for such a time as this. Ooh, you see what I'm saying? God, you anointed me to go bless them with some words. You have blessed me, God. You anointed me with these hands, right? Where I can use my fist, or I can use weapon, or I can use something, right? A shoe, something, right? And it's like, it's crazy, because the beautiful part about God, right? When you are closer and closer to him, and this is how I know that I've grown, y'all. I'm telling you this because I know these thoughts. I know these thoughts when you say, man, listen, I'm resentful towards them and I want them to feel exactly what I'm feeling. And your feelings is valid in that moment. You see what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. Your feelings is valid in that moment, because you feel like you gotta go take care of what you need to take care of, because God taking too long to take care of it in your mind. You see what I'm saying? But I had to really get to this place where it was like, Toya, it ain't about your timing, and it ain't yours to take care of. That ain't even your business. They got personal issues that's going on, and God had to show me that. The same way that you trying to get this love, the same way that you trying to be kind, patient, and not irritable and not resentful, they're trying to do the same thing. But maybe they haven't even found that way to me, and maybe you could be a light for them, right? For them to see me in you, right? To see the love in you. So then that way they can begin to receive the love that it is that I really have for them. Because see, somebody out here, man, listen, we all not going into the actual church buildings no more. Some of us ain't even making it in there. You know what I'm saying? Because we feel like, man, listen, these people don't even know me. I ain't got time for people to be out in here judging me. Guess what? People judging you regardless if you go to church or not. I'm just saying, somebody had to say it. Even if you're not going to church, or whether or not you go into a church building or not, guess what? God is right there where you're at. Did you hear what I just said? God is right there where you at. I'm not saying that it's bad for you to go and fellowship with other people. I'm not saying it at all, because it's nothing wrong with you wanting to go inside of a church building to be around other people, right? Because at the end of the day, we need people. And that's what this is about too, right? Is that we're getting on here because we got issues. I got issues. You got issues. We got things that we dealing with. And this is life. Life is out here life, but God is still guiding. And this is what God has called for us to do. He calls for us to be open. He calls for us to still aim. He calls for us to still give an effort to try to do the right thing. But listen, y'all, I'm telling you, I've been there before. I know what it's like to want to take matters into your own hands. I know what it's like to listen. I'm telling you, I've been delivered from that. I can honestly say that I've been delivered from that, right? And healed from that. But guess what? Your girl is still triggered. Your girl is still triggered. Your girl still has ways where sometimes Toya want to just say what Toya got to say and want to bless you with some words. I'm just saying, I want to say what I got to say, because sometimes you don't get it. And if I try to say it in such a nice way, right? It's like, oh, no, that ain't even who she is. And you just like, oh, okay, so you want the old version of Toya. You want me to go back to who I used to be. And see, and that's the thing. People will try to take you up outside of your bubble if you allow them to. But I refuse. And that's what I had to get to in my head and in my mind too. And I said, okay, God, you got this, because you got me under control and you know what is best for me. And you know exactly what it is that I need out of life. And God says, look, if you're making the efforts to try to do what it is that love is supposed to be, which I'm showing you, right? Because this is the fruit of the spirit. This is what I want you to understand, right? Is that this is what love is. This is what love is supposed to be. Not just the fruit of the spirit, but these are the traits that I want you to have, because these are the traits that I have that's inside of me. So I need for you to pay attention to what love really is. Love is not just a physical thing. Love is not just a mental thing. Love is not just an emotional thing. Love is not just a lust thing. And y'all, we're gonna talk about, the lustful love and the physical love. We're gonna talk about those things, but I'm just excited about the foundation of what love is, because God tells us this. He says that it does not keep records of wrongdoing. Listen, I'd have been in relationships. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I'd have kept records of wrongdoing, because they'd have kept records of wrongdoing. And because they try to throw different things up in your face. And I ain't talking about just relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend. I was talking about friendships. They was like, oh, you remember when you was out here doing that? Oh yeah, I did this for you. And just start throwing stuff in your face. And I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So because you want to do it now, you got me turned up. Well, I want to do it too. So now I'm telling you what I'd have did for you, and now I'm throwing that in your face because you want to be nasty. So I'd have met you exactly where you was, and now you upset because now I'd have came in at you. But that wasn't love. That wasn't love. And neither one of us wanted to even apologize. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger person and I'm gonna apologize, right? Because that was wrong. Regardless of how I felt. And it goes right back to that heart check, y'all. It goes right back to that heart check from last week. That's a real thing. Check your heart. Check yourself and see exactly where you're at in that moment. Like, you have to be mindful of what triggers you to get here. And it's an emotion. And this is exactly why he tells us that the issues, right, flows out of the heart. And he says that the heart is desperately sick. Who can understand it? Only God can really truly understand what he's created. But God says love is in there. I'm in there. So love is God. God is trying to tell you that you have every single thing already inside of you. And then it says it rejoices with the truth. So even to that, love doesn't lie. Love is honest. So are you honest? These are the things that we need to make sure that we're looking into. These are the things that we should be looking for, even in a person that we want to do life with, a purpose partner. We should be looking at, is this person kind? Is this person patient? Is this person not envious of me? Does this person boast about me? Does this person do all of these things? What is it about this person that is showing godly traits? These are godly traits because God is telling you, I am love, right? So who is love? It's not what is love. It's no such thing really as what is love. We can't experience the what without the who. And if we don't understand that the who is the foundation of love, how in the world can we even get to grasp or even share what love really is? We can't even share what it is that he's trying to do. We're all trying to aim after something and we're looking after stuff and we want to obtain all of these things that God wants us to obtain because the world tells us that we need to have them. We got to have the J's. It ain't nothing wrong with the J's because listen, y'all, I love them too. And I love me some don'ts. I love my don'ts. But anyway, I was about to get sidetracked just now. But listen to what I'm saying. We get so caught up in the things that we want that we're not asking God, God, help me, right? To shape me and mold me into what it is that you want me to mold into. Maybe you need a little bit more patience. Maybe you need to be a little bit more kinder. Maybe you need to work on not being envious of other people. Because every single one of us have experienced envious, right? We've experienced it in some shape or form. You know what I'm saying? Not for me, and it's so crazy because, right, I never felt like I've ever had jealousy issues or envious of anybody. I've never been that way, especially when it comes to like my family, my people that are around me. Now, for me, right, my jealousy comes in when I see Beyonce or I see what's my girl, Sierra, right? Listen, I'm like, look at CC, she living her best life. And I'm like, Toya, what you doing? You living your best life too. How you gonna compare your life to hers? How you gonna compare? And I've always done this, y'all. I've always compared my life to celebrities' lives because I've always wanted that life. You know what I'm saying? And so then it was like, you need to start really appreciating what you have, which is the foundation of Toya. And when you start appreciating the foundation of Toya, God is like, I can bless you with a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be worried about what Sierra is going through or that prayer that she prayed, right? For her man. You ain't got to do all of that because at the end of the day, what's for you is for you, right? And it's some things too that you don't even know that Sierra has already gone through in her journey, in her experiences, in her life, right? That you can't even, you probably wouldn't even be able to walk in those shoes. You know what I'm saying? So her blessings are hers, but the blessings for you, they're coming for you, Toya. And so that was one thing that I had to learn. I had to learn that, y'all. You see what I'm saying? So I get excited now for people more so than anything. I get excited, celebrities or not. You know what I'm saying? I just get excited for them when I see them truly being happy from what I see, anyways, right? Because it looks good on the surface. We don't know what's really happening on the backside, right? We don't know anybody's story unless we're actually there with them. People can put up all of these different things on Facebook, Instagram, and it makes it look good, feel good, all of that. But what you see is what you see, but you don't really see what God sees. You don't get to see them, the good, the bad, the ugly. You don't get to see them without the makeup on. You don't get to see them without the lashes on. You don't get to see all of that. And I'm not down to nobody for putting that on because guess what? Toya love lip gloss. Yep, I love me some lip gloss and I love my hair. What? Oh, all right. I'm just saying. So I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, man, God sees you naked. He sees you. He sees you. Like you can hide it from me. But he sees us. He sees us. He sees our intentions. He sees our hearts. He sees our thoughts before we think them. He knows everything. So it's like, what are you hiding? And that was my point too, y'all. That's why I'm just like, my business ain't even my business. So I'm like, God, this is really who you are. You love me. You showing me what love really is. You're showing me who love is. But the world wants us to get so confused on the what part versus the who part. We've lost our identity. And in order to really truly love other people, we must love God first. God says, love him with all your heart, all your heart, all of your soul. Love him. Love him. Love him. And if you can't even love him and you can't even receive his love, how in the world are you expecting to give somebody else love? I'm just saying, y'all, it's just food for thought. And I'm telling you, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks because I was like, wow, I'm comparing my life to celebrities' lives. And, because I got expectations. You know what I'm saying? I got standards. I got, you see what I'm saying? I'm like, like, shoot, I got standards. I love myself. I know what I got. You know what I'm saying? I know what I bring to the table. Right. And then God had to remind me of that too. Like, I need you to get out of that mindset, because I don't need you to be worried about no table, or I don't need you to worry about none of that. You are Toya. And yes, you are valuable. And if any man can't see that you're valuable, honey, they don't even deserve you. And some people I don't even stoop low enough to even talk to. I don't answer everybody's hello or hey, how you doing, or I don't do that. Why? Because it's pointless. Like, what can you do for me that I can't do for myself? Right? And it's so funny because everybody's situation is different. So I don't speak on nobody else's experience or anybody else's situation, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we all are flawed. We have issues. We all got issues. We all got things that we're dealing with. A lot of us don't deal with things the same way. But that's why I say that it's up to God. And that's why it's so important for us to be rooted in our love and who love is. Because if we're not rooted in who love is, we're not going to be able to really truly glow. We're not going to truly be able to grow. And even when we are wrong, we have to be able to say, okay, God, I'm going to take accountability for saying to know that I was wrong. I'm going to take accountability for knowing that I was wrong. I shouldn't have did that. Maybe I should have went about it a different way, but I didn't go about it a different way. Okay, God, I'm going to let you be you and I'm going to be me, right? But I need for you to continue to help me grow more and more, because God lives inside of our hearts. And we asked God last week to put himself back in there, right? We asked God to put himself back in our hearts. We asked him to remove some things, but we got to stop getting attached to those things that's not of him. And God already showed you just now. I'm telling you, read it. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Read it. Those are the traits. If that man or that woman ain't got those traits, and even to your friendships, if they not even trying to make an effort for those traits, why be connected to them? Anybody else outside of that ain't even trying to make those type of efforts, they not even, I don't even know whether or not if they're even worthy of you to even be around. Like, I get it. You got people out here seeking, but let them seek and let them find you. Don't you go out here searching for them. And don't you willing vanilla just be out here trying to connect with them, because they can't lead you nowhere. They can't lead you nowhere, and you can't guide nobody. How in the world you gonna try to guide somebody else when you ain't even there yet? And I'm saying, listen, or even trying to make an effort to get there. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I say we are in this thing together, because I'm trying to make an effort to get there. I don't know about y'all. I haven't arrived yet. I know I haven't. It's still more lessons for me to learn on this side. It's still more for me to grow through in order to glow. You know, because people been out here telling me, Toy, you glowing, you glowing. And I'm like, thank you, God. I'm glowing. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. But it's still some internal mess that's inside of me that I'm trying to get up out of here. I'm trying to get rid of it. But in honor of Love Month and Black History Month, I was like, man, we really need to speak on who we are. We need to remember who we are. We need to remember whose we are first. Because if we don't remember whose we are first, we wouldn't lose ourselves in this world, because we will allow the world to identify us. And that's not okay. God is love. So because God is love, we are love. We must be love. We gotta be, and we gotta be able to reproduce love. But if we can't even grasp and receive the love that God has for us, or even make an effort to try to become like love, right? Then we can't produce it. We can't reproduce. We can't do it. We can't do it. It's in us, but we have to activate it. A lot of us haven't even activated or even made an effort to try to activate it. And some of us have, but yet somewhere down the road, right, we lose our way because we get so involved in trying to take matters into our own hands. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be truthful with ourselves and honest with ourselves. What happens with the root? What happens with the root? And the root is a real thing too. It's a real thing. The root is a real thing. It causes us to stumble. The root. So we got to clip it at the root, snip it out, take it out, and let it go. So next week, y'all, we're going to continue to talk about love. We might continue to talk about this some more, because I feel like, when I said, what is love and who is love, right? And I'm like, without the who, you won't know what love is, because that's a real thing. Who is love is really what it is. God is love. And we got to focus on the who is love versus the what is love. Like they go hand in hand, but the who is more important than the what. And without the who, we wouldn't be here. Without the who, we wouldn't even be able to understand. We wouldn't even be able to comprehend. We wouldn't even be able to apply it to our lives. And that's the thing. We have to apply. We have to make an effort to apply the love. We can read it. We can read it. We can read it. We can read it. And we can even have our girl talks, our sister chats, and our brother chats, sister brother chats, all of those things, right? We can have all of those things. But at the same time, man, God has still called us to love Him and love others. But if we don't respect the who, we can't get the what. We won't ever really get the what right because we don't really understand the who. And a lot of us have the wrong who's. A lot of us have the wrong who's. Did you hear that? A lot of us have the wrong who's in that spot where only God can reside. And some of us need to mic check that. Well, not mic check it, but do a side check of that and evaluate that and try and figure out whether or not that's really, if really that who is really beneficial. Because if it ain't, 1 Corinthians 13, I don't know, sis. I don't know, bro. You might have to let them go because that may not be more beneficial to your soul. Because regardless of whether or not if you want to believe it or not, right? You can have a spiritual relationship with somebody, right? You can have a spiritual relationship with them and it be a real genuine spiritual relationship. However, right, it's going to also affect the emotional state as well as the mental state. And the mental state is a real thing because that controls your mind and your thoughts. And the emotions too can play a role and fathom into the feelings of the mind. And so you have to be very mindful of what you're connecting your soul to. Because everything that you, just because you have a spiritual connection with somebody, that don't mean that's it either. I'm just saying, spiritual connection, inclinations, you got to be very mindful of inviting people into your spirit. And I'm talking about even intercourse because that's a spiritual thing too. Got to be mindful. And a lot of times we can talk about this next week, but I feel like I'm going down this road now where we have soul ties. We have all of these things that's coming up, and we join ourselves with people that are not even called to be a part of us. Like, and that's a whole nother thing. And then you wondering why you out here looking crazy and out here doing crazy stuff because you don't allow somebody to enter into you. Most likely a demon. I'm just saying because it's some evil spirits out here, right? And because they gave you, just because they told you was beautiful, you decided to open up your legs, right? And go ahead on and just, do them. And next thing you know, you took on some of that trace and you like, dang, why am I acting like this? Why am I doing this? And I'm just saying, right? Because even some men, same thing, you know what I'm saying? You out here trying to figure out why you out here bipolar because you just slept with that girl that had all of these different issues. You didn't know that she was a mental patient, but you done went and slept with her. Oh, all right. I'm just saying, some of us got to rededicate our lives over to God again. Some of us got to really sit still and let God be God and really show you who love is because a lot of us just out here making drastic decisions, having kids with people that we shouldn't even have kids with. Like we won't even call to have kids with them. Like it's crazy about here in these streets. Do you hear what I'm saying? I know, y'all, because I'm telling you, I lived it. I know what it's like to have a man tell you oh yeah, sweetie, you beautiful. Now you gotta do a little bit more than that to get to me, right? So the only way that you can even get close to me because I know myself more so now, right? And I'm not in my 20s and I'm not young like I used to be. So I have to take those lessons, right? Take those lessons, take those L's and move forward with them. You can't beat yourself up over stuff but you gotta learn. You can't beat yourself up though, because it didn't work out with that person or whoever, it didn't work out. And that's okay. It didn't work out in that moment. But guess what? I'm still here. I'm still moving. I'm still trucking. God ain't through with me yet. You see what I'm saying? So we in this thing together, y'all. We in this thing together. Ain't nobody better than nobody. Ain't nobody better than nobody. Can't nobody be out here just throwing shots. Can't nobody be out here just saying, oh, I got it. I live in a perfect life and I'm doing this. No, because I ain't. I ain't. I'm just saying, I'm still out here, still trying to seek God, still trying to seek Him continuously. It's a everyday thing. I'm literally out here still trying to find my way. But I know that He is the way, the truth, and the life. I know this. And so because I'm attached to Him and because I know who He is, He begins to show me who I am, which is love. And so then when a person do try to talk to me, or a person try to, I'm like, you gotta do more than that. You see what I'm saying? It's standards to this thing. You gotta raise the bar because you're worth it and you're valuable. You're valuable, sis. You're valuable, bro. In case nobody else told you this, you are valuable. You are worth it. You are worth the chase. You are worth it. Oh, honey, you are worth it, queens and kings. Do you hear what I said? You are worth it. Only you can charge your price. I say, listen, you gotta pay full price over here. Ain't no discounts over here, baby. No discounts. Let me stop, y'all. But seriously though, it's no discounts. You got to pay full price, and it's all about knowing who you are, and that's really what it is. This is really what it boils down to: is how you respond to life's issues and life's journey, right? Um, really shows you your relationship with God, where you're at with that. Um, and sometimes you have to take inventory of what's inside your heart that shouldn't be there. Ask God to remove those things. Like, listen, remove those things, take those things from my plate that ain't supposed to be there. Listen, you gave me the plate. I just only want what you put on the plate. And that's what I ask God for. God, I only want what you put on the plate. I don't want to put nothing on the plate no more. I don't know what's best for me. I don't even trust my own self. I love you. You know, I love you. And I show God that I love him because I'm spending time with him. Not only just spending time with him, but we talking. We talking. You know what I'm saying? And even when I don't hear from him, I'm like, okay, God, maybe I should have talked to this person. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said it like that. And this is how you know that you're growing in God, because you begin to see your relationship with him evolve. You see what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you see your glow coming because you begin to take accountability, because you realize that, okay, I still got some issues. I thought that I was okay in that area, but maybe I wasn't. But I'm just saying. But anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get ready to get up on this road, honey. And I'm gonna see y'all next week. Next week I will be back on at 8:00 p.m. live. Even though I'm live right now, it's 3:07 p.m. right now. And I'm live right now, but I know y'all will see this later on. But I hope and pray that this has touched you in some shape or form. And this podcast, man, I hope and pray that it's a blessing to each and every single one of you. Listen, I know I ain't everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. That's fine. Spit me out. Go turn the channel, whatever. You get what I'm saying? I'm not for everybody. I'm not. But at the end of the day, man, God has a word. God has a word for us. And I really, truly believe that by us doing this together and growing together and being open and honest with each other, because I look at it as encouragement, right? Because you're not by yourself. And I don't ever want you to feel like you're by yourself, because you're not. Like, humans like to shape up things and make things like, oh, they like you the only one that's going through these things. Like, you the only one that's having these type of feelings and these type of thoughts. And you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one, sis. You ain't going crazy. Nope. You show anger. I'm right there with you, boo-boo. Okay. I know what it's like to be a little crazy. I know what it's like to also be sane, right, in a moment, right? I know what it's like to have peace. I know what it's like to feel like you're going through hell. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like when you want to go and cut somebody. I know what that feels like, but I have those come back moments, and I'm trying to help somebody, to help free somebody in that space, because I know what that's like. I know what it's like. I know what it feels like, but we don't have to stay there, and we don't have to make excuses for it. So we're not going to make no excuses. And that's what I'm doing. I ain't making no excuses. We're going to do this thing, and we're going to grow together, and we're going to glow together. Y'all have a great, great week. And I will see y'all next week. Enjoy Love Day on the 14th. And happy Black History Month to everybody who celebrates it. You should, because we are a great people. Okay. Hey. All right, kings and queens. I see y'all next week for the Glow Up is out. Bye.